You look. I mean, whoever's on track to be the Heisman winner, marketing companies are going to come quickly and fast. And but you also worry about it from a coaching perspective. It's an incentive to play great, but it could also be a distraction too in the middle of the season.
It could be, but it also could be a motivator.
True.
Um, when Nick is talking to these players and these other coaches are talking to their players, you know, hopefully they're teaching them, hey, just as quick as those companies sign you, they're going to have character clauses in those agreements. They're going to have incentive. Some of these things are going to be incentive based. If I'm signing Bryce Young right now, Ryan, you know what that's conditioned upon?
Of him being the starting quarterback.
Absolutely. I don't want Bryce Young on as my guy if he's on the
So do
bench.
you think? And I don't know a lot about contractual written, agreements. Do you think that's in there?
If I was putting up $800,000, it would be in there.
How about an injury clause? Can you put an injury? I mean, could you do that? I mean, Jacob may want to chime in here too.
How long do you think Subway hung around Robert Griffin III after he got hurt and was out of Washington? Who knows how long that contract was for? But Subway dropped him faster than a bad habit.
Right.
I'm sure there's probably some deals out there with.
Yes, I mean, Ryan, big boy money, big boy. You won't name, image, and likeness. Your name, image, and likeness is a combination of who you are.
So, are you telling me now that Nick Saban can walk in and go into a room that's competition already and add that type of incentive?
Yes. I mean, I hope Jacob comment, but I hope no one is signing these guys without Ryan. But the other side of that is if I'm Bryce Young, that contract is based on 12 games. If I get to an SEC championship, boom, that's bonus. That's more money because I am instantly more valuable to you. I hope that's what these agents are doing. If I get to the semifinals, boom, that's more. If I am a national champion, boom, just like in the NFL in the playoffs, Ryan, the winning team gets so much money each week, and then the losing team, and every week that goes up until the Super Bowl. Okay, every pro athlete, even though I was a free agent with the Steelers, Ryan, I had some incentives, PT incentives, that if I did certain things or played certain percentage of plays as a rookie, I was going to get paid more. I hope that these guys were smart enough to not sign a deal that covers them, pays them the same amount. Think about this, right? I mean,
have win total. Hey, if I'm a marketing company, the value of the exposure of Alabama, yeah, I mean you're paying for that brand for one, but you're
if we play 12 games and you give me $50,000 per game, for instance, and we turn around and we make it to the SEC playoffs, SEC championship game, extra exposure. Who's going to be talked about that week? Then if we make it to the college football playoffs, there's right now it's going to be 4 guys talked about as far as quarterbacks in the playoffs. I'm going to be one of those 4 that's being talked about all the time. You're going to pay extra for that. If I win in this now the national championship, that 2 weeks, it's going to be me and the other guy they're talking about. You're going to be getting exposure after exposure. I hope that these guys are dealing with these contracts just like you would any other contract. And the bigger the money, the more clauses you have in it on both sides.
Listen, I'm having to adjust to this just like Nick Saban stood on that Wednesday and said, hey, what we say today may not be true tomorrow, or what we said yesterday may not be true tomorrow.
Had you not thought about that angle?
I thought about the incentive side of it, but not from the extent of I mean, the dollars go. I lose track with the dollars when I think about Devontae Smith because the value of what it would have been this time last year for Devontae Smith, and then what the value would have been middle of the season, and then what about towards the end, like the month of November? I mean, he could have made a month that because if people that a wide receiver for winning the Heisman Trophy, I mean that's a value in itself. But the exposure of just putting that team on his back and saying, hey, from a wide receiver perspective, if you were a company that could have come in November the 1st and signed him to a deal,
But think about the companies that signed him in August. They should get the greatest value for the least because they signed him. But if Devontae is smart, or if Bryce Young is smart, Bryce Young is looking and going, okay, I could be the best player in the country. If that happens, here's what my deal is worth. If I win, if I'm on 3 All-American teams, this is what that deal's for. This is what that's how you negotiate contract. It's sort of like, if you got in on Amazon when it first started, you didn't have to pay more for that stock when the value went up. If you got in 2 years down the road, you paid a little bit more, but you haven't had to pay any more. If you get in now, you're paying a premium. But the people who valued it before, they get the ride and exposure. But if I'm that Amazon stock, hopefully I was planning for that to happen. If I'm those people that own Amazon, hopefully I was planning to be, okay, if we get to this point, if we grow to this level, then I get this many more shares of stock.
When you think about Bryce Young, he has a chance to either enhance this name, image, and likeness, or let's say he doesn't perform. I mean, we've all taken the positive. What if he does the other way?
Right.
And you look at companies and they're going, oh, hold on. They're looking at other companies that didn't get as much exposure. It's hard to say that the quarterback at Alabama is not going to be worth $800,000. But what if it goes negative? What if it goes the other way? Then companies, maybe David Shaw's correct.
Has there ever been a company that's made it big without taking a few risks, though?
Oh no, sure.
Hey, sure. And watch this though, Ryan. If Bryce Young 3 weeks in is not the starter, what will be the conversation week 4?
Distractions.
No. I'm talking about from a name, image, and likeness standpoint. In terms of that company that invested $800,000, who will be the conversation if Bryce Young is benched week 4? Bryce Young.
It'll be Bryce Young.
Bryce Young will be the conversation, and Bryce Young will be the conversation week 5 and week 6, and week 8 we'll still be saying.
You're saying that there's still a big value for Bryce Young, even if he's not the guy.
Yeah, if they're doing it for name, image, and likeness. Now, will he get re-signed? No. But that's also why the company has clauses in there that if you start, or like I said, I don't know what the contracts look like, but that's why I would have that in there so that if that happens, when my value is when my player is being minimized and lower, I still get to ride out on his negativity, and I'm still part of that brand. I can still benefit from that. However, at some point, if the tide doesn't shift, then I'm not still paying for, and forgive me for saying, dead weight to sit on the bench. And if these players want to be big boys and say, hey, name, image, and likeness, they're all laughing and enjoying it right now. But somebody's feelings gonna get hurt, Ryan. When the first company dropped one of them and we start reporting, oh my goodness. Hey, Ryan, remember this, and I'm not picking on, I only remember the kid's name from Auburn. Remember the big kid that was from Birmingham? Gonna be the next Cam Newton.
Oh, Johnson.
Yeah, Jeremy Johnson.
He remember that? If he was coming out, what would he have right now? He'd have a lot of big deals, right? Yeah. And it's gonna happen to someone, and all of a sudden you're gonna read, oh, they had a $500,000 deal and it got nullified because they got benched. You want big boy things, you get big boy conversation. And there's going to be some 18, 19-year-olds that's for the first time going to see a true value of someone saying, yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, baby. You're not worth it. You're not any good. I'm not giving you any more money.
Let's break here. We're going to come back. I'm going to ask Martin's on a roll right here. We're going to get back to the conversation. I'm going to throw out some other things about training camp and many other things. I'm going to ask you how Coach Stallings would have handled a certain situation.
Uh-oh.
We'll with more Alabama tradition, the past, present, and future of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Touchdown! Alabama wins! The Alabama football countdown clock is driven by Crawford Insurance, Tuscaloosa's low-cost auto insurer. Call 752-6489 for a free quote today. There are 32 days until Alabama football.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get two great tastes in one delicious bar.
BBEL.com.
Benito's line cook just threw in his kitchen towel.
This order needs to go out right now.
He needs to find help before his customers are left waiting.
So sorry. We'll be right with you. Who's got table 6?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning, privates! I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation, private. Astute.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone? Yes,
Have a change of heart with Honey Nut Cheerios. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Benito's line cook just threw in his kitchen towel.
This order needs to go out right now.
He needs to find help before his customers are left waiting.
So sorry. We'll be right with you. Who's got table 6?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're in HR, you're probably wearing a lot of hats. Recruiter, team builder, trainer, mediator, policymaker, and of course, paper pusher. But not anymore. Bamboo HR is the #1 HR software for small and medium businesses. It manages all your employee data easily and automates countless tasks, so you can focus on people, not paperwork. Bamboo HR frees you from spreadsheets, so you can do your real job, creating a great place to work. If you handle HR records and paperwork, Bamboo HR is a dream. Let us free up your time and put your days of pushing paperwork behind you, so you can focus on the people and making your company a great place to work for everyone. Try PC Magazine's top pick for HR software free today. Just go to bamboohr.com/panda. This is a limited offer only available to radio listeners at bamboohr.com/panda. That's bamboohr.com/panda.
Child Abuse Prevention Services of Tuscaloosa and community partners like you are improving the quality of life for our children. We are just days away from our 28th annual Nightlight Golf Tournament at Tall Pines on August 6th. It includes a 4-man scramble, other games, and a silent auction. Opening bidding at 32auctions.com/caps2021 is August 2nd at 8 a.m. Bid hit on items like autographed Alabama paraphernalia, hotel stays at Embassy Suites, designer watches, purses, and more. All bidding ends August 6th at 9:30 p.m. All proceeds help to prevent child abuse.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
The following is a true story.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I had sold her time, and I was the lowest I'd ever in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I had sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel a timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. If we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or we'll give your money back. That's what makes us different.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344. 800-572-3344.
Start here in Tuscaloosa under Nick Saban, but a full team brawl that happened there under Coach Joe Judge. We've got some players, we've got some assistant coaches that have ties back here. Many different. I think Jeremy Pruitt's there. I know that Burton Burns is also there. But running back Corey Clement was brought down hard by Jabril Peppers, and Evan Ingram, which played at Ole Miss, defended his guy, gave a little bit of Peppers a shove. That set off Logan Ryan, who then took Ingram down from behind. The entire team jumped in. Where was Daniel quarterback? Daniel Jones, the quarterback. Somehow he ended up the bottom of the pile. When you look at Daniel Jones, considering Yahoo put this in there, considering his 45 sacks last season, that seemed to be a talent of his, which is pretty good within itself. But Martin, I got to get you to react. I mean, that's pretty good. But how did Coach Stallings handle fights? Because triple digit, 2-a-days. What was his mentality with fights out on that field?
He didn't necessarily like it, but I don't necessarily know that he had a specific way of handling it, each and every time. He didn't like for teammates to fight. And so a lot of times it was broke up. We never had any type of all-out brawl like that I can remember. I will tell you that Coach Curry had a unique way to handle it.
I like the smile. I'm seeing it right here. There's a story coming here.
He would stop practice and make the whole team up, and then make you guys put on boxing gloves.
Really?
Yes. And one of the greatest ones ever was John Cassimus versus Sean Frazier. Okay? John Cassimus, and this is to help us understand. So please don't take any racial. You know, it's so funny that I have to say this now. I've told this story a million times. And I've never had to say it, but everything is so racially charged now. So, but you understand it. John Casmus was a little bitty wide receiver, white kid from Mountain Brook.
Okay.
Sean Frazier was a person of color. He may have been mixed. He may have been just a light-skinned black guy. I'm not sure. So that's why I'm not trying to be funny with that.
Okay.
But a brother from, I think, the Bronx, but I know it was New York. He was a linebacker.
Okay.
And supposedly he had boxing lessons, maybe even had been really good. So if take that part out, and this is going to be a butt whooping anyway. So that was one of my favorites.
Do you hear Deontay?
Do what?
Jacob just played Deontay Wilder bomb squad like Deontay Wilder. Oh! All right, so connect the dots. Let's go.
So it was not pretty for Casimus. Not at all. It was very, very unfair. Needless to say, I don't think there was another fight. So I just thought that was a neat way to handle it. And Ryan, what would happen? Now, I will tell you, I do remember this about Coach Stalling. If you did it, and Homer Smith was bad about this too. You get the next 100 reps, man, because nothing wears you out as much as fighting. Like, and then you may have to run rep after rep, where you may be on a rotation of like 3 or 4. Oh, you got enough energy to fight? Undoubtedly, we're not working you hard enough. That was kind of the concept and thought process behind that.
But as an NFL team, for one, your quarterback somehow ends at the bottom. I know we were kind of had a little punchline there, but
not good.
No, not good. Not good. But Judge lined up these professional athletes. And I know you got a lot of guys that are trying to make the team, coming in as free agent or undrafted guys. Or he made a lineup and run wind sprints, which I guess really never happens at the next level, at least to the extent. But the media was coming in talking about him up doing wind sprints. So I guess send a message, Joe Judge, punishing team with wind sprints after a major brawl in the NFL training camp.
Well, and the punishment, Ryan, would be that he makes you go right back out to practice. You see what I'm saying? So that's probably the punishment side of it is practice didn't end, and the brawl got you tired, and now you're running, and that's one of those where if you wasn't in the fight, you're like, should have jumped in somewhere because you're gonna get the same punishment.
Well, and I saw it yesterday, and Jacob, you have to help me with the names, but over in Carolina, the linebacker that was hit, and then I believe there was a wide receiver.
It was a defensive back who was undrafted. I can't tell you anybody's names because they're all fringe guys.
Yeah.
But the wide receiver was coming over the middle,
and he got popped,
and he was up in the air, and the safety basically targeted him. You can't do that to your own guys at practice, man.
And they cut him, Mark. They cut him. They literally
before the practice day was over.
Yeah, they cut him. Like, so he took a shot at a wide receiver going across the middle, trying to make the team, undrafted guy, trying to impress, and he targeted. He cut him. So
let me tell you, that probably means that the receiver was a prized possession.
No, he was.
No, these were both undrafted guys trying to make the roster.
No. Y'all didn't hear what I said. I didn't.
Ambulance and everything.
I did not say drafted.
That's why they cut him.
I didn't say drafted. I said prized possession. Sometimes they see like this is what a lot of people don't know. You ever watched Jacob, Ryan, you ever watched a preseason game and you see a guy and you're like, man, that guy, I don't know who he is. He could be really good. And then you don't see him the rest of the camp and he doesn't get to play anymore. You know why? because they're going to put him on a practice squad and develop him, and they don't want the other teams to see him. And so even though this guy may not have been, a drafted guy, he could have still been someone with a plan that they had a plan for as well. And I'm not saying they don't value everybody, but the reality of it is they show you when they cut you in the middle. And I hadn't seen the play, so it could have been so bad, or it was PC media. That could be one of the three things. It could be he was targeting. It was the player. You said an ambulance came and all of that.
Yeah, at Carolina, right?
Yeah, and so if they don't do anything, then they look bad.
Even moving his extremities.
Yeah, that looks bad.
Kind of frozen in an L-shaped deal. Yeah. He was out.
Yeah, and that's probably what made it as well. But don't be surprised if this kid doesn't end up somewhere else, though, because some coach out there may be like, that's the type of kid I want.
Hardest hit you ever took in a game or in practice?
Did I remember or that I took?
Oh, that you took.
Well, the hardest lick
I mean, because fullbacks would be an easy target.
Well,
get cheap shots in.
Well, Ryan, I got knocked out in the Tennessee game by a guy named Shazan Bradley, and he was a line. No, I actually didn't. I stayed on my feet, so I didn't fall. And like he hit me, and then Dwayne Hardy hit me, and when Dwayne Hardy hit me, it knocked me back toward our huddle, and I literally walked back to our huddle. Was in the huddle. Play was called. Muscle memory, I guess. I walk to my spot. I get down in my stance, and all of a sudden, I hear the roar of the Tennessee crowd. And I don't remember anything before that play, during the huddle, and have no idea what play it's called. And I literally guessed it's probably going to be a sweep. And it was a sweep. So it looked like I knew what I was doing. No one knew it. We're watching film, and Homer Smith goes, Martin, you look like you're kind of drunk on that play after that play. And I'm like, Coach, I wasn't drunk, but I was completely out. Needless to say, I played the rest of that game and the next game and the next game. But the hardest lick I probably got may have been the George Teague lick where he hit me in the back of the head and I never saw it coming. But I don't remember it all. I don't remember it to this day. I've just seen it on film. So, and he left the ground almost like he was flying and hit me in the back of the head. And if you ever get a chance to see my helmet, it's probably about 1.5 inch groove that's probably 1 centimeter deep or so, where he hit me. He would have been out of the game for targeting, Ryan, but I would have been out of the game as well. I don't remember that play to this day. But I was actually getting to run the ball on that play, Ryan. I talked to coaches into letting me run the ball. And
so you were running the ball and he caught you?
Ryan, I had been talking so much smack at practice that I told Coach Kirks and all those guys, I said, hey, listen, I'm just as good a running back as all these other guys. I said, the only difference is they get to run the ball outside on sweeps and don't get hit to their, 10 yards downfield because I'm blocking. I said, if you were to give me the sweep, I'd do the same thing. They pitched the ball to me. I actually fumble the ball, Ryan, because I'm so excited, but it bounces right back up, and I'm on the edge. I have not been hit. There's a couple DBs about 10 yards downfield. I run. I don't even make a move. I just lower my shoulder and run straight at them. And like bowling pins, they fly to each side. And now I'm about 20 yards downfield. I'm 25. And all of a sudden, as the film is following me, you see T coming from across the field. And you can see him enter the screen. And it's like the person is like creeping around trying to find out. And the person that's coming to kill him is behind them, but they don't see it. That's what it was for me. And about 30 yards, 35 yards in, Ryan, you could see me start nodding my head, okay? And I do remember saying this. I told him. Needless to say, after I got knocked out, Coach Kirksey, when he got me back in practice, he said, "Don't worry, we will never call that play again." And they didn't. So that's the.
It's like when I think about what you guys had to go up against in practice, good heavens. I mean, that 92 defense was nasty.
Oh,
and to go up against those guys every day in practice.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah. Go.
Tired when Saturday got here.
Yeah, practice was the hardest part of my week for the most part, or at least the most physical. The Saturday games were never quite as hard as the Tuesday practices were our big full pad days. So that's when it got real every Tuesday.
So now with Tuesday here in Tuscaloosa with Nick Saban, it's run install and then pass install, and then they tie it all together Thursday. Coach Stallings had to have more than just one day dedicated to running, though, right?
we probably had a little different approach to the way we did things. We tended to put game plan in, and then as we went through the week, we got rid of things we couldn't execute well. So I'm sure we had days that we emphasized one versus the other. And when he says that doesn't mean that they don't do the other thing. But no, we definitely had a lot more time focused on inside run and inside drill and full team pickup than they do today. And so, and our days were different, Ryan. We didn't practice on Sunday. We were off on Sunday. We came in on Monday, shorts, shoulder pads, and helmets, full pads on Tuesday, and then based on how it went on Tuesday, what we did on Wednesday, and then Thursday was kind of a shorts, light day, and then Friday was walkthrough.
That's Martin Houston. I'm Ryan Fowler. Jacob across the glass. This is Alabama tradition, past, present, future of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Looking for a color change? Ask Sherwin-Williams. We've made it easy to try and buy color. Preview paint colors in your home with our Color Snap app. Then visit swsamples.com to have color chips delivered to your door for free. Or order peel and stick samples to try on your wall. When you're ready to paint, shop online or stop by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store and get everything you need.
The sale's on at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Stock up for school with 40 to 70% off almost everything and deals from $13. Find it all at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com through August 10th.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get two great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
At Target, we know there are a lot of firsts when it comes to going back to school. First looks, first bites, first day photos. So with lower prices and great deals like $8 jeans, $4 tees, and 50-cent supplies, make Target your first stop back to school.
Gonna miss you around here, Iris.
Olivia's best optometry technician is going back to school.
Did we get that new frame?
Her eye is already twitching about finding a replacement.
Ugh, this can't keep happening. We're gonna have to cancel appointments.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky partially sunny this afternoon. Just a small chance of a shower through the evening hours. The high today 87, tonight's low 68. For tomorrow, the chance of a shower stays small, partly to mostly sunny with a high at 87 degrees. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 83 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The host of the game, Ryan Fowler, and the host of the Martin Houston Show, Martin Houston, have combined to offer a show filled with Analysis of Alabama football and more. Alabama Tradition broadcasts live on Tide 100.9 every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. and is available live and on playback on numerous affiliates around the Southeast. Check out alabamatradition.com for a list of affiliates as well as other great content.
See, you got he's saying don't let your babies grow up to be Cowboy fans. This is Jacob trying to get a shot in at my Dallas Cowboys because Thursday night football starts this week. He's been getting these little subtle jabs. You're a part-time Steelers guy, so you kind of get it.
Well, for me, it's interesting. I grew up a childhood like loving the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the greatest. Tom Landry was my guy. Loved the Cowboys prior to Jerry Jones.
Sure.
And so sometimes I catch myself pulling for him now. But then, of course, I went to the Steelers, and I loved Coach Cowher, and I loved what's his name as their coach now. But yeah. But I'm kind of torn. I want to see Najee do really well, but then I'm like, am I gonna be a Steelers fan for real now? Because I've really never been like a Steelers fan, and it would be like growing up an Alabama fan and then going to Auburn. Oh no, I'm sorry. It'd be like growing up an Auburn fan and going to Alabama and then trying to go back and cheer for Auburn because you used to be a fan. And that's kind of where I'm at with the Steelers and the Cowboys. That's where I'm at with Alabama and Auburn too. Because I grew up an Auburn fan.
Brian Robinson is going to be opening up camp coming up, and we have a lot of expectations around running backs. I mean, it's been a trend for many years. In our final couple of minutes, give me something that you've seen from Brian Robinson that makes you confident that he can be that next bell cow running back here in Tuscaloosa.
He can do it all.
Is it that simple?
I really do think it is that simple, Ryan. I think 2 years ago we questioned whether Najee was as good as we thought he was. But what made Najee who we thought he was? When Najee got the opportunity to be Najee. And I think Brian Robinson is now please don't hear people hear me saying that he's more talented than Najee. I think Brian Robinson is a more complete back than Najee. I think that Najee has maybe a better running style. But I think Brian Robinson is just as good as a receiver from what I saw in high school and what he was able to do there. I think he's a better short yardage back than Najee in terms of just sticking his nose in there. And we've seen that undoubtedly he must be one of the best blockers because when we went to a fullback formation, they put him.
That's why you're biased toward him.
And then he's a Tuscaloosa kid. But yes, I mean, I do think that I think he is a guy that if he had been the man, we would feel totally different. I've seen him play, and I've seen him do everything that you want from a running back, especially a big back like him. And so I think he just needs carries. I think he needs the touches and he needs the experience. Does that mean that he will be the man by the end of the year? I'm not saying that, but I do think that Brian Robinson is a legit big-time Alabama running back. The question is, will he be able to hold off all of the talent that's in the backfield with him? And that's the question I don't know.
With grooming everything and new coaches over there, don't you think they'll lean on those backs? Because, I mean, yeah, I'm biased. Deadgummit. I mean, I'd love to. I was would love to be able to line up and play that type of football. I know it's not the way that you win in current football, but don't you think they'll lean on those backs early on a little bit to break in Bryce Young, or do you think they'll just throw him in the fire and
Well,
air it out 35 times a game?
lean on doesn't mean that you run the ball the same way we did, Ryan, when I was playing. Lean on the running backs because they are the most experienced. Maybe that you use them in the passing game a little bit more. What's a swing pass other than a long handoff? So I think you may see some of that. I think you'll see them use the offense. Here, I got a quick question for you, Ryan. I know we need to go. I saw this on Saturday down south. What's more likely to happen? Will Reichert repeat his perfect performance, or the offense scores 50 or more points in 6 games this regular season? 6 games or more.
I would probably say more likely it probably will, right?
And here's the
It's the points. They played 4 cupcakes. That means they only got to put 50 on 2 SEC teams.
Yeah, but he said halfway through the.
No, I said 6 all year.
Oh, okay, 6 all year.
Hey,
Okay.
nobody has caught that side of it, Jacob, that there's probably 4 and they only have to find 2 SEC teams that they have to do this on. But here's the question, Ryan.
I'm gonna do it now. Ole Miss.
Is Will Reichert potentially the MVP though early on in the year when we're playing Texas, Florida, and Miami because of the fact that this young offense? Does he have a chance to have, a lot more field goals in those early games because we are more conservative with our young quarterback and for sure kicker?
I don't know about the conservative aspect. First, Nick Saban at SEC Media Day said that that the offense is going to stay the same under Bill O'Brien. And Bill O'Brien, historically, the more question marks around his quarterback, the more he throws the ball.
Well, when I say conservative, Jacob, I it's so funny. We have to like redefine everything now. Conservative wasn't meaning that we run the ball a lot, but may mean that when we're in field goal range, we're not as aggressive this year as we were last year. So when I'm saying conservative is where you may would have came out and trusted Mac Jones to really go get a 3rd and 10. You may settle for a draw or a screen or some type of bubble screen with the young quarterback versus letting him throw it in scoring range because of your kicker.
That's Jacob Harrison. You'll be able to hear him 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Martin Houston wakes you up mornings beginning at 6 a.m. here in Tuscaloosa. 0600. Oh, that is very, very early.
It is, bro. It is. And it comes every day.
You have to sleep back. That's Martin Houston. Jacob, I'm Ryan Fowler. We'll have a big lineup tomorrow, and we get a little practice. We'll do it again next week right here on Alabama Tradition, the past, present, future of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
With Indeed Instant Match, just sponsor a post and immediately receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit. This is a big deal.
Take care, Jacob.